Okay. So we had this, as you may have observed, shocking heat wave last week, and it's probably not the last one we're going to have this summer. If you want to tap into what it is um, billionaire funded right wing think tanks are disseminating to the population at large, it's always useful to put something on Twitter about the climate in times like this. So, climate change denialism has gone through a number of stages. Absolute lies to begin with, from in the 70s and 80s, and then a kind of following the smoking lobby. There's a kind of acceptance of the issue, but a querying of causation versus correlation. There's always this kind of stupid idiocy that people put around saying, oh look, I think it was some kind of originally some kind of facetious kind of wit that said that since the 19th century, aggregate temperatures have gone up, but the number of pirates in the world have gone down. So, ha ha, it must be caused by an absence of pirates. This sort of kind of stupid, time wasty sort of stuff. And then we moved on from that to delaying. Yeah, well, yes, I mean something should be done, but let's not be hasty. Let us not do anything rash, like making rich people pay for their overconsumption of the world's resources, leaving us in the situation we're in, or whatever we do, there are horrible trade-offs to make, and nobody really can say with any kind of certainty what's right or what's wrong. Well, there are plenty of people who can say that with a great deal of certainty. They're normally the people who understand the science of the situation and understand what we as a species need to do to survive. The people, the language of denialism has now kind of shifted into, and this is what I saw recently when making some observations on Twitter about how perhaps people who compare climate change to the summer of 1976, which is what people, by the way, if you're not listening to this from Britain in 1976, we had a heat wave or a long warm period that lasted for several months, and this is what reactionaries in Britain like to talk about in the manner of saying, well, we've had this sort of thing before your time, if you're older, then you have some kind of sort of you have a kind of a more venerable wisdom about you that means that you've seen the seasons change and the sunrise and set, and you've kind of are more aware of the realities of climate science and oceanography and all this kind of stuff, because you experienced the summer of 1976. Now, all of this stuff that kind of litters the internet and is there kind of making sure any meaningful discourse doesn't happen. It sucks up all the kind of the oxygen in the room. It's all propagated ultimately by right-wing think tanks. Arguments, attack lines, the misdirection pumped out there by bot armies on Twitter. Because an awful lot of time when people put this kind of maddeningly stupid stuff in replies to your original post, it's not people, is it? It's bots that Elon Musk said he was going to eradicate from Twitter, but really kind of amplified. So you're not necessarily talking to a person at all. But there are people out there that listen to and then retweet these things and repeat them. And because I guess it's kind of reassuring you, instead of entertaining existential questions about the future of humanity and whether there is one, instead you can say, well, look, what do these scientists know? It was sunny 50 years ago, and people got out there, instead of them, the kind of the moaning woke generation now, people got out there and enjoyed it and had like a good 70s ice cream and 99 flake, and went swimming in old quarries and things like that, and all this kind of reactionary sort of stuff. And that kind of misdirection is designed to prevent climate action. Why do you imagine that there are elite groups interested in preventing climate action? Well, I presume this is for a number of reasons. Firstly, the fossil fuel industry is aware that its number is up and that the profits from fossil fuel extraction have been dwindling for some time. But what you want to do is extract what remains of that profit, of that profitability, and put off the evil day when we all switch to renewables, because between now and then, maybe there are tens of billions to be had. And what you then are, as the arch cynic that you must be to engage in this kind of thing, thinking, well, we're essentially robbing from the future generations that will have, they'll be massively impoverished by this. We're going to kind of chronologically asset strip them. We're going to wreck things now so that we can enjoy the profits of that and hoard some of the world's resources now. And then, there'll be a mess for them to inherit. It's a bit like what somebody of that mentality would do temporarily. In the moment, they would do that by asset stripping the world that exists now. So it's a kind of horrible calculation that involves screwing people that haven't been born yet, and leaving behind a trashed planet. Not nice, and predicated on the fact that perhaps they're aware of their own mortality, and they're probably happy that their number will be up before whatever the real greatest consequences of climate change hit. Delightful people. So that's why when you're sweltering and you make the mildest of wry observations about climate change denialism, suddenly there's this tsunami of activity on your Twitter feed. This is what happened to me the other week. I don't have a huge number of followers. My account got nuked a while back, and it is interesting to see how these attack lines are so similar to one another, almost as if somebody else kind of wrote them and disseminated them. So there's a whole industry behind all of this, obviously, but there are certain times where you get to see it in action, which is fascinating stuff. Anyway, catch you on the next one.